Kian, we've known each other for such a long time. We have even recorded an album together. And every musician uses this strange situation in a very different way. And you are definitely one of the musicians that are inspiring me the most. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now?
Well, I'm doing a lot actually, and I started, I went through different phases, of course. We all had to deal with it in our own way. So the first kind of phase, let's say the first month or so, I really just tried to relax and not do anything and to have time for myself more, because as a traveling musician, I guess I was traveling a lot and really just practicing and performing, so I didn't really have time for a lot of just relaxation. So I did that for a month, but then I started to really work on a project that is extremely dear to me and extremely personal, and that I have wanted to do actually in a way I think all my life without ever having a concrete idea of what it was exactly that I wanted to do, but I knew that something in this direction I always wanted to do. And so I started to do this really intensely and with a lot of passion and daily and obsessively almost. And I started that in April last year, that's April 2020. Yes, and I'm almost finished now, even not finished yet. Yeah. And I cannot tell, I know it sounds very mysterious because I cannot tell you too much, I just know, just so you know, it has something to do, well, you of course know what it is actually.
Yeah, you have shown me before and I really told you we are exactly in a totally creative process, which is such a good. Just for the viewers, that soon I can announce everything. It has something to do with arranging, a lot of arranging that I've been doing, a lot of creative stuff, creating stuff, arranging stuff, and it has to do with, I don't know, with my maybe childhood, growing up, something with movies maybe. Some viewers might know your passions as well.
My passion for movies is pretty well known for people who know me a little bit. So all of that went into this huge project, which is going to be my next album, which is going to come out this summer, and we're about to finally finish it very, very soon. So this has been a crazy amount of work since almost a year now.
And then you say you're like arranging stuff. How do you do that? Like you just sit down and play something on the cello, write it down, or you plan it in your mind? How do you do that work?
Yeah, it's very unusual, I would say, from what I hear, that composers, the way a composer, in my opinion, or my knowledge of how a composer works, is that they of course write down things. I mean, that is the essence of a composer, writing it down on paper. And so I'm not so much a composer myself, and so I don't do it like that at all. Actually, I don't write down anything. I go straight into recording. I go straight to, and a person who has inspired me a lot in this way of working, and I saw that this is possible, is a musician called Jacob Collier.
Yeah. Just wanted to ask. I know
because that's the way he works. That he's less of a composer, more just of a creator. He just creates music. He creates sound. So I just went with the same approach. I go straight to the microphone and I just try out and I hear it, and only once I hear that it sounds good, this idea becomes valid, and then I move on from it. So actually I didn't write down a single note. That writing down process is the very last process. Once the whole arrangement is finished and it sounds the way I want to sound, then it goes to writing it down.
With computer or?
With the writing down, I actually I hire somebody
great.
to do that. Because then it's just the single. I can send all the notes individually, and then he just has to listen to an individual note and write it down. It's painstaking work, but luckily there's somebody else.
And I mean, Jacob Collier uses a lot of different sounds also from his daily life, whatever he finds in his room. Do you also do that, or you just work with your cello?
Well, I set myself one specific limit, and that is in one way it's limiting because it's a limit, but the other side is also extremely liberating. My one condition was it has to be 100% cello. Nothing but cello sound.
Yeah, so you look inside, but you can find...
Whatever I can find on the cello counts. That includes percussion, a lot of percussion, but all on the instrument. And whatever crazy cello technique, whatever also maybe not heard before, all sorts of sounds, but it has to come from the cello. That's limiting, but it's also liberating because I don't have to run around and look for all the different, because then you never know when to stop. But like this, at least I know my work is focused to one instrument, and like this I can really go deep into this one spectrum. So I try to really find every sound possible on one single instrument.
Yeah, maybe to explain to those viewers who don't know Jacob Colli, he's like recording different layers. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So it's not like chamber music, but it's really, you are recording several lines,
Yes.
and then in the end it's one big arrangement.
Yes. It's pretty much the opposite of chamber music actually, because
Yeah.
you're playing only with yourself,
Uh-huh.
and chamber music, maybe the whole essence of chamber music is to react in the moment, and
Yeah, you
But-
cannot do that.
I cannot do that, but there is also only specific kind of music that works for this. I wouldn't now record Schubert string quartet like this, it makes absolutely no sense.
Okay.
But especially the repertoire that I chose is music that is very strict rhythmically,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's actually hard to get perfect in the chamber music setting because it's really all about rhythm and precision. So this sort of work, which is to just play with yourself over each other, this makes it easier actually, because you can
Okay.
really work for this precision that you need for this kind of music. So it's the opposite of chamber music, and I would never replace this with the real
I mean,
chamber
there have
music.
been some attempts of recording chamber music in the first lockdown with this kind of technique where people are like using metronome and stuff.
Yes, I've seen this a lot on social medias, that people do that from different cities. So
And you use this kind of idea for a better.
I don't
or
know,
something.
better or worse, but this is definitely inspired. I mean, not inspired, it's definitely similar to this approach,
Yeah.
but I try to aim for the best possible quality in both arranging and recording, because of course I don't record. Once I'm done with my arrangements, then we have to re-record the whole thing. That's different than Jacob Collier, because he does
Yeah.
it all in his room, and
Uh-huh.
that's the final version.
Wow.
I don't have his skills of recording. He's a real pro when it comes to recording as well. I'm not. So once I'm done with my arrangement,
You can be in the future.
yeah, maybe I'll go to a professional and we really re-record everything on a really high level.
We both are also people who don't just sit on a couch and play games, watch series. We do that as well. I'm not into series to be honest, but you're also a person who really uses his day in a good way. So what are you doing apart from arranging? Like, are you taking walks? Are you spending time alone or with others? What are you doing?
Yeah, a lot of walks. Definitely, actually, this is something I started to really like. I was never a big fan of walks, but now I walk a lot. Sport, running, and the occasional.
Yeah, we did that together in Elmau, I remember.
We also did that
the
together.
running,
Yes.
the snow.
Yes. And otherwise, just nothing. Watching movies, obviously. Watching
Yeah.
movies, running, spending time with loved ones, friends and family, and so on. What about you?
Drinking coffee with Aaron.
Yes. What did you do actually? You
Well,
said something.
I am working on this, this mentorship program I've told you about, where I really help ambitious students to really individually work on their goals with me personally, one-on-one. This is a big part of the time of the day, and also I have also worked on a recording which is going to be released very soon. I also talk about this probably from next week. It's all about Bach, so some of you might know already what it is about. And yeah, that's it. So I spend time with my girlfriend. I'm also doing sports, meditating, kind of using the day or not using it.
What is this mentorship program?
I mean, nobody really worked out the solution for how to work online, right? With a teacher, with a mentor. In the first lockdown already, I was very curious how that would all play together if I'm traveling, for example, or if I'm somewhere else. You can always be in contact with your students, and that's really a good thing, because I really love helping other people. I really love to see when students achieve their goals, and I really love also receiving positive messages when something finally worked, for example, with the exercise that we have been discussing. I've probably worked with my teacher, with Lars, a couple times online, but you never really nobody really dared to put that together in like one offer, because usually you just go to school. But I think nowadays it's more important than ever, because people, even without the current situation, people are traveling more, and it's really important to use the possibilities.